Hello Disney and Hershey lovers, I'm Matt.
I'm Alex L, and today we're going to be doing a comparison video of some of the roller coasters here at Hersheypark and roller coasters from Florida that I and my friend Matt recently got to go to.
Yes, we recently did a trip to the Orlando parks, and we visited SeaWorld, the Universal Parks, and Busch Gardens, to name a few, and we rode some of the coasters down there that we felt were kind of similar in some ways. You know, same manufacturers, same design, but kind of similar in some ways. But we'd like to compare them to our home park here that what this YouTube channel is all about, Hersheypark. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, the first two coasters that we're going to compare in this video are Mako at SeaWorld Orlando versus
Candymonium here at Hersheypark.
Both B&M hypers. The lift hills are pretty much almost the same height, or about comparison. The trains are identical, 4 seats across. They look identical other than the color schemes.
The track length is different because one is longer than the other.
What coaster do you think would be our preference here?
I personally like Mako. I love Mako. Here are the only two differences that I see between Candymonium and Mako. First difference between Candy and Mako. Candy is shorter than Mako. As if you've ever been to SeaWorld, SeaWorld has a lot more land, and when they built Mako, they made it quite long.
Like an L shape in the back of the park.
Right, over a lake, L shape,
yes.
And it goes on. It also has a mid-course break. The second comparison to these two is that Mako does not have a seat belt. Candymonium does have a seat belt and a clam bar. Without
the seat belt, that's just one huge advantage that Mako has over Candymonium. And I honestly felt like I felt more free when I was riding.
Right, and I love that feeling.
And that's what I wish Candymonium would be like. So that's like one strike against Candymonium, but that doesn't mean Candymonium's a good ride. Still one of my all-time favorite coasters at Hershey, but just between these two, you know, we both seem to agree that Mako's the better of the two.
Right.
Although I will say this, I think Candymonium has the stronger ending of the two over Mako. I think Mako has the better first half, Candymonium has the better second half, but the overall feeling without the seatbelt is what really puts Mako, and the track length is what puts Mako above Candymonium. So another advantage Candymonium has over Mako is there's no mid-course break when you had brought that up.
Right, due to the fact that Candymonium is shorter than Mako, it has no mid-course break, so it will go on without braking and slowing up at all. There are trim brakes on it, however, that doesn't slow it down as much as a mid-course brake will.
So there you go, folks. There's our preference. Let's move on to the next coaster. Alright, our next comparison here would be Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando versus Storm Runner at Hersheypark.
So these are both launch coasters.
Different manufacturers. And these two actually are quite different from each other in quite a few ways. Storm Runner is an intimate launch. But it is very intense,
and it's one straight track
loop. Yep.
One straight loop. Icebreaker technically is not. Now, the difference with this being built is this one has what they call a spike. So this thing has a track transfer that will transfer you to the actual ride in which it's going to launch you. Launches you 3 times. Once forwards, once backwards, and
to get you over the top hat.
Right, a third time to get you over this.
And may I also add that I prefer the top hat element on Icebreaker way over Storm Runner due to the fact it's more compact and the curves are tighter and it gives you a much more intense feeling.
The G-forces on Icebreaker are
intense.
So much more intense.
Yes.
And as you said, because it's more compact, it's in one small area.
That's why I like top hat on Icebreaker better than Storm Runner. Not that Storm Runner is not a bad ride. It's more compact, and tighter the turns, the more intense you're going to get.
Also, with the spike on Icebreaker,
Yes.
your body is being launched backwards, and once it goes into the spike,
And you're straight up looking down at the ground.
right, your
Yes.
G-forces on that are
Yes.
phenomenal.
So again, I think we're going to give this one to SeaWorld just due to the fact that you get more G-forces, more intensity, a little bit more intensity on Icebreaker over Storm Runner. So there you go. All right, our next battle here would be two very popular B&M invert coasters. But both are popular rides, and they both have personalities of their own, and that would be Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay versus Great Bear at Hersheypark. And I will clearly say this, I think one drawback, it's one big negative, the Great Bear versus Montu is its length.
Absolutely, that is probably the biggest comparison.
That's why, honestly, I love Great Bear. I love how Hersheypark takes pristine care of it like they do everything else. But I am not buying the weak ending on it, the weak second half. Basically, once you go through that corkscrew, it's just an S-turn into the station. It's basically like someone tried to play Roller Coaster Tycoon and try to get it back up there,
And, but hats off to Hershey, but they put Great Bear in a very difficult
tight
place.
And kudos. I mean, that's one thing Hersheypark is awesome at. As you can see with Skyrush and Comet, it looks like Skyrush has been there for years, even though it's been like 11, 12 years now going on. You wouldn't think that if you've never been there before, or Storm Runner, how it interacts with the monorail.
And with Great Bear, I'll say that's the main issue is because the space they had and the way they had to do it, I think they just had to do it very carefully.
They didn't have enough
that they don't
look at some of those, and the fact that they were very limited on where the space due to the fact that the township would not allow them to build in the creek. That's why you have some of them odd-looking supports like behind the looper there. And so that did not help as far as construction. But overall, to get away from the negative, I will say, one thing that makes Great Bear unique is that helix above, between the lip and the drop. That's something you will not find on any invert, from my understanding.
And it has some intense forces on that helix.
In the back seat, too.
Great night ride. I will give hats off to Great Bear. It is one of the best
especially during dark nights with the fog. That's the time to ride it at night. But let's go on to Montu here. And overall, this is the winner, hands down the winner of this battle. And we told you the flaws as to why with Great Bear, why we think Montu wins this battle.
Montu, super smooth, surprise elements to it that you don't see coming. G-force is very strong. I mean, there were some G-forces in that thing that had my eyes rolling in the back of my head.
Another awesome backseat ride,
right,
too.
Backseat ride.
Yes.
Fun. Well themed, too.
Yes.
I like the station.
Egyptian.
Very Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yep. And they just recently repainted it.
Yes, and they also, I like how they have those trenches built where it dives under the train tracks and all that. So riders on the train, if they time it just right, they might see a train go around there. That's really cool, or, I love those touches.
Little themes.
Yeah, it goes and dives under the train like that. That's really cool, So yeah. Both phenomenal rides, both great rides, but Montu takes this win in a landslide, and you know why that's the case. So we'll move on to our next battle here. All right, the next coaster battle here is two Intamin coasters, two totally different experiences on Intamin coasters here. Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure versus Skyrush at Hersheypark.
Now this battle is a good battle because these two are
phenomenal rides.
Phenomenal, insane rides, both of them. Velocicoaster, I believe on the difference with this, again, I believe is longer.
Yes.
I think it's much longer.
Multiple launches.
Yeah, there are 2 launches to this. Also where Skyrush doesn't have a launch at all.
I guess we can compare the launches with Storm Runner. No, I'd say the launches with Velocicoaster and Storm Runner are pretty much about the same, given that they're both Intamins, but we're not going to go into the launches. We're talking about the rest of the trains, the lap bars, and the overall coaster. you know, that's what we're looking at here.
So the layout on Velocicoaster, as I said, is longer, and it's just phenomenal. And the way they built Velocicoaster over the lake.
That was one of my favorite parts.
The
Yes.
second half of Velocicoaster is one of the best things I've ever ridden.
You're so close to the lake that you could literally, if you stretched your hand out, you feel like you're going to touch the water. That's how close to the lake you
The
are.
top of your head will literally be 2 inches
Yes.
from the water.
That was one of my favorite parts of the ride. And given the fact that both Skyrush and Velocicoaster are both over bodies of water, they are.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get that effect on Skyrush.
No. And as far as Skyrush goes, Skyrush is an ejector air machine.
Insane ejector air.
Insane ejector.
Yes.
I mean, you get almost catapulted out
Intense.
of your seat.
Yes. So let's talk about something here that you either like it or you don't like it in the coaster enthusiast community, and that's the lap bars. Very big difference here when it comes to
Very
Skyrush
big
and
difference.
Velocicoaster. Very big difference, and we wanted this is the reason for this battle for the most part.
Is
The lap bars, while they look similar, I will let
they
this.
feel a lot different
Yes.
from each other.
Yes. Oh boy, yes.
If you don't believe us, your thighs will tell you.
Yes. Now, honestly, I haven't really had a thigh issue with Skyrush, but there's a lot of people out there that have, and we are really hoping that one of these days Hersheypark will get the Velocicoaster style lap bars. We think if Hersheypark would make this change, that Skyrush would boost the ridership of Skyrush even more. I think that's why a lot of people avoid riding it, because they don't like that feeling on their thighs. I know we know several people that won't ride it anymore for that reason, and I'm sure if these lap bars would be switched, that they would go back to riding it again.
I can guarantee right
Yes.
now, if Skyrush had Velocicoaster's restraints,
Oh my, yes.
I can guarantee you
Yes.
100% no one would ever make any complaint.
The thigh
ever
crush
again.
name would go away. It would go away completely.
It would go away
Yes.
forever.
Yes. So fingers crossed that we get the Velocicoaster style restraints here. Hopefully Hersheypark management listens to a lot of us here. Not particularly this video, but just the enthusiast community and the Hersheypark fan base that would really like for something like this to happen. All right, we saved the best for last, and that's Wildcat Revenge at Hersheypark versus Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay.
So,
This is going to be a tough one.
now, I will start out by saying, when Wildcat's Revenge opened and the first initial roller coaster enthusiasts got to ride it, the first thing that was starting to pop up
That
in the
have been the
media
Busch Gardens.
was saying, this is the little brother of Iron Gwazi. This is the Iron Gwazi of
The Northeast.
Northeast, yes. And being able to ride both of them, they couldn't be more accurate.
Yes, and both phenomenal. It's very difficult to say which one's better. I would say the only thing that maybe is Iron Gwazi has over Wildcat is the height.
The height.
It's a lot taller and
Faster, too.
yes. A lot of similarities, a lot of similar elements to Wildcat. Wildcat does have more as elements for inversions, you know, so that has an advantage over Guazi.
But the thing of the size makes
Yes.
a difference. Iron Gwazi was phenomenal. Just the height and the
Yes.
speed. However,
Oh my, yes.
those elements can feel very drawn out as high as they are. So some of them don't feel as intense. Wildcat's Revenge is literally a compact version, and it's just ejector air after ejector air moment on that.
Not as
thing.
much land to work with. I mean, they're basically taking up the footprint area of what was the original 1996 Wildcat, and you know, Iron Gwazi has a much more space there to work with. Both coasters were taking up their original forms, which were both manufactured by Great Coasters International. You had the original Hersheypark Wildcat and the original Gwazi.
Gwazi, which used to be a dueling coaster,
Yes.
was it not? Yep.
Mind you, not a racing dueling coaster. That title goes to Lightning Racer as the first wooden racing dueling. But Gwazi was the first dueling coaster that was out there. And fortunately, I was able to get to ride it. So it was nice to be able to say I got to ride both versions. But yes, Iron Gwazi.
I will say this on one things I like and don't dislike about the two. One thing with Iron Gwazi, I like the transition into the brake run a lot better than Wildcat's Revenge.
Much more smoother.
Much more smoother transition into the brake run, whereas Wildcat's Revenge, it
abruptly.
Tosses me.
Yeah.
It
throws you into the lap bar pretty much.
Throws me into the side of the seat. We're too quick, and it's uncomfortable. But other than that, they're both golden.
Yes.
So this is very hard.
We let this go to the end because you have two high world-class rides here. And both have won the Golden Ticket Award in their debut seasons, and congratulations to both Hersheypark and Busch Gardens for that. So not a lot of negative positives. This is a very close one. It's RMC, Rocky Mountain Construction. When you ride a Rocky Mountain Construction created attraction, expect it to be high quality, expect it to be intense. We've both been on several of them, and yes, they are intense. So yeah, be sure to ride Wildcat and Iron Gwazi during your upcoming visits to Hersheypark and Busch Gardens. You will be glad you did. So other than that, what a great way to end this video with probably the two most high quality and best top tier coasters out of this battle that we've done. So what your final thoughts?
Right, all these coasters in this battle have done so well. And if ever you get the chance to ride any of them, please do. Just try them out. They're all very, very good. Not worth missing.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our Hersheypark Season Pass holders and Disney Lovers of Hersheypark Facebook groups. And be sure to subscribe to us and join our Instagram and Twitter/X pages and keep up with us on our social media channels. And until then, have a magically sweet day.
Everybody.
That's all for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Check us out on our social media channels, including our Facebook group, where you can meet other fans as well as join in our various discussions of both Disney and Hershey. Let us know what else you would like to see for future episodes on our channel. Until then, thank you for watching and have a magically sweet day.